Ladies and gentlemen, the moment that we've all been waiting for. Jacob, cue the lights.
Yeah, sorry, bro. We got no lights.
We got no lights? All right. Jacob, cue the music.
No, we can't do that either, bro.
We've got no music. I call the president, dude.
I don't even know who the president is anymore.
All right, never mind. Let's get into this. On the road, so they are set up for a little more stability, but as you can see. And 3/4. So we've added a couple inches onto the deck. About the new Endurance. The new Endurance actually has some new features. Well, guys, welcome to my channel. This is the Endurance Plus. I'm James, aka Sin City Eastgate. Let's go ahead and dig into it. This board has got the 14S 8P P42A Molicel battery inside. It's running the 6385 Reacher motors. 203 kV. There are actually two different options for the Endurance Plus. So when you go to check out on the Endurance Plus, you can choose between the 173 kV motors and the 203 kV motors. Now, you might be asking yourself, James, which one do I choose? That's a great question. The 173 kV motors are actually going to give you more torque off the bottom line, but you'll lose a little bit of the top speed. The 203 kVs will actually give you a little less torque off of the bottom line, but will provide a higher top speed. But what's nice about the Plus version is that each one of these motors are actually pushing 120 amps to each motor. So you have 240 amps of power being pushed from the battery through the ESC to the motors. These motors are actually capable of pushing up to 180 motor amps per motor. So we're not even close to stressing these things out. All right, so what ESC is inside the board, James? That's a great question. The MBoards has been using the Maker X lineup since they switched from the Stormcore lineup. All boards that come from MBoards come with a FlipSky VX4 remote. Go ahead and get into the deck. This deck is actually nothing like the first version. So I went ahead, I pulled an old Endurance deck from the stock, and I've got the brand new ones. Let's go ahead and go over a couple of things that make these boards different. Right off the bat, you can feel that there is a weight difference between these two decks. So this deck without a lid weighs 3.7 pounds. This deck without a lid weighs 5 pounds. All right, so what is different between the Endurance 1 and the Endurance 2? The Endurance 1 is got a little bit different of a lid seat depth, and the Endurance 2 is a little bit deeper. The older deck had a 4mm depth. The new deck has slightly larger than 5mm depth. One of the things that he changed was the length of the deck. So the length of the deck is now 41.5 inches, where the old deck was 39.75. So we've added a couple inches on it. Moved everything out a little bit, made the deck a little bit wider. So the old standing platform for the Endurance was about 9.5 inches. The new standing platform for the Endurance is almost 10 inches. So we added a little bit to the width, added a little bit to the length, and then now whenever you run the 7-inch Novas on this deck, you don't have to worry about wheel bite at all. As soon as we look at the lids, you can tell that there is a difference. So as we stick these two lids together, you can see that the old Endurance was extremely flat. There was no lips on anything. The new Endurance lid actually has a lip that comes up on the top, and same thing on the other side. So the old Endurance lid had a thickness of 2.25 millimeters. The new Endurance lid, is a lot thicker. The new Endurance lid is 6.38 millimeters thick. That is almost 3 times as thick as the older lid. Let's go ahead and get a nice little close look up at the camo print for the carbon fiber. This is the only electric skateboard on the market that offers a camo carbon fiber style deck. I'm gonna go ahead and do a top speed test on the Endurance Plus right now. It is on the 150mm Novas, 58T gears for the 58T wheel pulleys, and then 16T motor pulleys. So as soon as I lift up the rear and I hit it, we're getting 50 miles an hour. Not sure if you can see that. So I'm thinking I'm probably gonna hit somewhere around 45 to 46 miles an hour. I've got the Yours Truly app pulled up right now too. So this is recording. I've got all the wheel and pulley adjustments made inside the app. So it should be pretty spot on. 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, 46 going uphill, full throttle.
Maniacal.
Yes, on.
Maniacal.
Oh, it's fun. Stable, very stable. So 46 miles an hour on the 150 millimeter Novas 50AT gears. It is extremely stable. I had no problem at all. I even stayed tucked, tried to look aerodynamic and cool.
It looks so smooth.
And it was a very, very smooth pull all the way up, a very smooth ride all the way up. Boards has no problem doing 45 miles an hour stably. I need the Stooge to pop my cherry on 50. One thing that I really like about the Endurance Plus is honestly how long you can just play on the board. With this being a 14S 8P, you literally have range and speed 4 days. Hey puppies. And then of course, when you're rocking it on the pneumatics, you are literally going and playing. And I don't recommend riding on people's roads, but this is where it gets fun, is you're going up and down stuff. But it's a lot of fun. Nice deep carves. I want to go ahead and take a second. If you're finding any information in this video relevant, you like it, you think that it's awesome, go ahead and run down there and hit that like button. How close this is. See how tight I can get circles. Now, I am leaning hard. I do have my truck set up to do 48 miles an hour on Thanes on the road. So they are set up for a little more stability. But as you can see, this is probably a, what would you say, Jacob, 10-foot section of road? 10-foot section, and we are, and I'm easily making it, especially if I speed up. Right? No, 44 in the front, 33 in the rear. So 33 is more stable, 44 is the medium, 55 is the most carvy. The next thing to know about the new Endurance is that over here for our ports, this all used to just be the carbon fiber of the board for the older Endurance. Now there is a CNC'd piece of metal that attaches onto this to add some extra razzle dazzle to the new Endurance. So the new Endurance has got a couple new features to add extra razzle dazzle. None of them really to affect performance, but just more of to make the board pop some more. One feature that I had to learn the hard way is that with the D100S, you cannot simply click that to turn this board on. The power button has to be pressed and held for 3 seconds before it turns on. Now this is a pre-production board. This is one of the very first batches. So this board was assembled and was somewhat ridden at EskateCon, but it wasn't too beaten up. I got it in somewhat of a new condition. So as you can tell, I have put some good hard miles on this board. I've taken it off of sidewalks, I've dinged up the motors, I've dinged up the motor brackets. I have put it to the test. I rode this board almost every single day for about 2 weeks. I would take Sundays off and I would spend it with the family. But as you can see, I didn't really clean it up anymore. There's some ketchup stains from riding it. But I put some good serious miles on this board, and it for sure has my recommendation. Now, this board, having a 14S 8P, is going to be not more of a range monster. It's not going to give you 10 more miles, 20 more miles, 30 more miles. This board is going to give you probably 2 to 5 more miles for range, depending on, of course, your riding variations, how much you weigh, how fast you ride. Now, there's one thing that you have to take into consideration. These motors are pushing 120 motor amps per motor. So if you're gunning it like I do, and you're pushing 35 to 40 watt hours per mile on Thanes, you know, you're gonna for sure get 70 range. You're not gonna get any more than that. So the old Endurance and the new Endurance, I don't want to say that they're going to have the same exact range statistics or they're going to have their same range stats, but this isn't going to be a massive upgrade in range. Technically, the only thing that is the upgrade is going to be the top speed. So the old Endurance had a top speed of about 30 to 32 miles an hour, 35 depending on how you geared it. But this Endurance, having the 14S 8P battery, there are a couple of things that we need to go ahead and discuss. Everybody's main question about this board is, James, what is the range? So from day one till today, I have been riding this thing on strictly Thanes. I wanted to go ahead and put this board to the test. When you're riding a board on strictly Thanes, you can really vibrate the board and see what's going to happen, see what bolts are going to come loose, see what's going to break, see if axles are going to last. I put some good hard miles on this board, and it for sure has my recommendation for people that are looking to obtain a good street cruiser that's going to have range for days. When it came to me doing the range test on this board, I went ahead and pulled the charger off Sunday night, started riding to work on Monday, and did 7 rides to work. Now each ride to work is a little bit over 10 miles. So after I add up all that math together of the 7 days riding to work, this board got a little bit over 70 miles of range on the Thanes. Average time on this board from 0 to 100 is going to be about 6.5, 7 hours. For me personally, that's fine. On the pneumatics, you're getting 50 to 55 miles of range. On the Thanes, you're getting for sure 70 miles. You can get 100 if you're not like me. All right, which wheels do you want to choose when you go ahead and order your new Endurance? You've got options. You can either choose between the 6-inch Nova, you can choose between the 7-inch Nova, you can choose between what I think is probably the best thing in the game, Mad Wheels 105 millimeter. Speaking of Mad Wheels, they actually have something in the works. They're going to be releasing a new 120 millimeter urethane wheel. So make sure that you look out for that coming from them. So which tires do you think are going to be the best for you? If you're going to want something that's going to be agile and fun, I believe that you're going to want to stick with the 6-inch Nova. If you're going to want to have something that's going to provide comfort and you're literally not going to feel anything, you're going to want to run the 7-inch Nova. If you're a Thane enthusiast and you love the traditional skateboard feel, the Mad Wheels will not do you wrong at all. I have over 5,000 miles on mine and they're still not chunking. Bam! Now we got an Endurance on 6-inch Novas. So this is actually one of the other versions of the Endurance. So you can go ahead and get a matte version and then you can get a glossy version. The glossy version, as you can see, really makes that camo design pop out. It looks really good. On the Endurance that I was testing, it didn't have any of this braided wire, but I didn't feel the need to have any of that on the board. You know, it's not my personal board. So all the Endurances will come with braid on the wire as a protective coating. So I'm not as fancy as Mr. DE Drones. I don't got anybody to hand me a stick of truth, dude. I got a broom, all right? Now let's go ahead and check out the concave of this deck. This is actually something a lot of people have been asking me about. Now MBoards has never really been somebody that is into a lot of concave, because most of the time when you're getting these boards, you don't want to be battling massive amounts of concave when you're riding 40, 50, 60 miles. It's actually going to add an uncomfortableness to the ride. So the concave of this deck is not very drastic at all. In fact, some would say there is very minimal concave to the deck, but where the Endurance is improved this time is that there is actually the lip that is created right here to hold your front foot and to hold your rear foot. The differences between the Endurance 1.0 And I guess what we're going to call for right now for the review is the Endurance 2.0 are going to be the trucks. The old Endurance came on DKP trucks. This Endurance comes with Nexus adjustable RKP trucks. This new version of the Endurance comes with a couple upgrades. The old Endurance you could only get in one version. It was a 12S8P, it came with the standard 6368 MBoards motors. You could upgrade and put reachers on there, but the new Endurance version comes in multiple different models. So you can get the standard 12S8P model with the 6368s, or you can go ahead and upgrade to the Plus version, which is going to come with a 14S8P. It's going to come with the D100S, and it's going to come with the reacher motors. I can comfortably hit 47 miles an hour on these Nexus trucks. The setup that I have is the 33-44 degree split on the front and the back. So what that does is it allows the board to be carvy, but at the same time it still allows the board to be very stable. Personally, if I was going to be buying this board for myself, I'm going to set it up so that I can do 40 miles an hour for 40 miles and not have to worry about anything. This is the ultimate 40 for 40 board. Endurance. Strengths are, we've got multiple different varieties to choose from when we order the board. The new trucks are most definitely a new strength to add to the board. The new deck is a little bit more durable than the older one. This deck has got a little bit more in weight, which means that there was a little bit more material added in the carbon fiber. It's got a couple of spots where it's a little bit thicker, and the lid is a little bit thicker. All three of those things for sure add up to a strength in my book.
Hey guys, thanks for watching my review on the Endurance 2.0, and like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to use my discount code Sin City Eastgate, and you know, be cool, stay safe, and wear those helmets. Peace.